I sit here a few days on. I'm in Manchester, in the UK. I'm born here, raised here, lived here my whole life. Very proud to be a Mancunian. You know, for those who don't know, that's somebody who is raised and lives in Manchester, a very multicultural society, and I am shocked this week at the tragic incidents that took place a few days ago on the day of Yom Kippur at a synagogue just literally a few minutes down the road. My condolences to the families, to everybody who is suffering from this tragic instance, these tragic events. It just devastates me that this is what we're dealing with in today's world. So much hate, so much anger, and just so much animosity between each other. But as I've reflected over the last few days and thought a lot about what's gone on, and we've seen the headlines now, the Islamist terrorist and all the narrative that plays out on the media, on social media. And I just want to talk about that a little bit because I'm a Muslim myself. And I've read the Quran, I've studied the Quran, I've taken it from scholars. And this does not represent Muslims. Not in any way, shape or form. This is not Islam. What took place, the tragic incident that took place, was not Islam. No part of Islam condones it. Anybody who is okay with it, I don't stand with them. Muslims don't stand with them. And that's what I really wanted to drill home today, because there's going to be a lot of people on Twitter, on social media, saying all kinds of things about Muslims, that we told you, it's always Muslims, it's always Islam. That's categorically incorrect. And as I've been sitting and reading and reflecting, a verse of the Quran continues to appear before me. And it's chapter 5, verse 32 of the Quran. And it says, whoever kills an innocent person, it is as if he has killed all of humanity. Whoever kills an innocent person to spread mischief in the land, it's as if he has killed all of humanity. And whoever saves a life, it is as if he saved all of humanity. This is Islam. This is what it teaches us. How somebody can read this and then claim in the name of Islam they're carrying something out as atrocious as what's just happened is just not possible. That is not Islam. This person is not somebody who I consider to be a learned Muslim. It's wrong. However you want to frame it, it's absolutely, categorically wrong. Islam is very, very clear about protecting the sanctity of human life, of innocent people. As Muslims at the moment, let's not beat around the bush. In Palestine right now, there is a genocide going on. These are not my words. These are all the organizations that define what a genocide is, have clearly stated that what's going on right now is a genocide. And we're, as Muslims, are up in arms. An innocent mother, a child, an innocent civilian is losing their life, and we find that to be tragic and inhumane. This, what happened at the synagogue, is absolutely no different. Let's not be hypocritical here. Everyone's life, no matter what your race is, what your religion is, everybody's life is valued the same way. It doesn't matter. And, even if you look into early Islamic history, it shows that numerous treaties and covenants were agreed between different religions, that everybody could practice their religion in peace and in harmony. Even if you look at Medina in Saudi Arabia, which is the resting place of the Prophet, peace be upon him, they lived in harmony with Jewish people, with Christian people. Their holy sites were protected by Muslims. So for me to now accept or think that a Muslim in the name of that same prophet, that same religion, is going to carry out an attack on a synagogue, clearly shows me that that person is not following Islam. And I want to make that very, very clear, right? Because at the moment, you've got your Tommy Robinsons and people like that who will be up in arms and like, yeah, see, we told you so. Always Muslims, always Islam. He's got a beard, look at him, fits the profile. I've got a beard. Many of us have. There's billions of Muslims in the world. Billions. You know them. Some of them are your friends, some of them are your work colleagues, some of them you play football with. This is a tiny, tiny percentage of so-called Muslims who are ruining it and giving us all a very bad reputation. And it's down to you to use your intellect to try and learn, to try and understand. And that doesn't mean taking Twitter as your reference point or ChatGPT as your reference point as to what Islam is or what Muslims believe. You should speak to people who are learned, speak to scholars who understand, who can explain to you that this is a religion of peace. The very way that Muslims greet each other is Assalamu alaikum, which is peace be upon you. Everything around this religion is about peace. But if we're going to continue to listen to Islam from a Tommy Robinson perspective or ChatGPT or all the comments on social media, we're not going to understand it. I ask you, if you want to learn quantum physics, for example, you're going to go to a professor of quantum physics to learn that. And it's important that we learn each other's faiths. It's important that we learn about each other's beliefs. That's how it should be. That's how we'll come together, because there's a lot more that unites us than divides us. And I think it's a worrying time for me as a lifelong person who's lived in Manchester. People will now look at me different because of the narrative out there. They will look at me and judge. They will look at me and think, is that someone to be worried about? So it's a very, very sad time. I think humanity, if you look at what's going on around the world, the events in Palestine, the events here, the tragic, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking what's happened to humanity. There are always going to be minority people, as I mentioned, in every religion, in every sect, in every part of society, who are just rotten eggs. Bad people. But it's down to us to come together. It's down to us to really come together and unite this way. Because there are, again, people in the media, there are people out there with agendas to spread animosity and hate and divide us. But that's not the solution. So I'm really, really hoping, I really wish I never had to record a video like this or talk about this. It makes me very sad on a very deep level. But I guess I'm just reaching out to people as a Muslim, as somebody who lives in Manchester, as somebody in the community, to urge everyone to just reflect and all these great religions, whether it's Christianity, Judaism, Islam, they're all built on compassion. Want for your brother what you want for yourself. Love thy neighbor. Love thy neighbor. It doesn't categorize your neighbor to be a Muslim. If I'm a Muslim and my neighbor's not a Muslim, it's still incumbent on me to love thy neighbor. We're all part of humanity here. And no one anywhere should be victimized or oppressed on account of their beliefs, their race, their religion, because if that happens as a society, we failed. And anyone who is okay with what took place in Manchester this week at the synagogue on the holy day of Yom Kippur, I don't stand with you. Muslims don't stand with you. and it's just time to come together. Until next time.